Let's do it. All right, I'm recording. The recording button, the on the air button is on. I don't know what that means.
Better than the off the air button being off, because that makes no sense.
Yep. Are we live?
Yes.
Oh, good. Hey, you know what? We know how to do this, right? Cool. In 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Nintendo Dads, episode 166, recorded on February 8th, 2018. On tonight's episode, we're going to discuss Nintendo's recent improvements to the My Nintendo system that may let you spend your gold coins on Switch rewards. And you know what? We're going to talk about what games we've been playing. We're going to answer your questions. We're going to do a lot of stuff on tonight's show, and it's going to be huge. Zach, cue the music.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Nintendo Dads Podcast. My name is Zach Erickson, and tonight is February 8th, 2018. Joining me tonight from high atop his throne is the king of AG Tribune himself, Jesse Waldeck. What's going on, Jesse?
My head's getting lightheaded with the altitudes.
It's swelling. It's swelling is what is getting it. I don't know. Speaking of swelling, joining us as well from the land of the South, Marty Estes. What's going on, Marty?
I'm good. Today's been a good day.
Yeah, right.
I've done nothing today except eat and play video games.
Oh my gosh, dude!
I kind of wish.
Fantastic.
I really wish I could just say the same thing, but I probably put in a 9-hour day today.
Well, I took a day off today to celebrate my brother-in-law's birthday.
Nice.
And took him on a little road trip that ended up with including some Nashville hot chicken and video games at Dave & Buster's and ridiculously overpriced yet delicious ice cream.
That's the best kind. Is the kind that you know you're paying too much for, but you allow yourself to do it anyways.
You don't care because it's literally the best ice cream I've ever eaten in my life.
It tastes better when it's over, when you know you're paying too much for it. Because if you make yourself believe it tastes better, even if it doesn't.
Well, no, this does taste better, and I will say this: if anyone out there is listening from Jenny's Splendid Ice Creams, and you just want to give away a corporate sponsorship to some fat guy who talks about video games, I'm your guy.
There you go, man.
I'm your guy because I love that freaking ice cream.
We will sell out for you. Yeah, we just absolutely.
We just recently got an Andy's frozen custard place opened up
frozen custard
half mile away from the house.
That sounds good.
Daughters.
I know I'm probably talking about this too much, but I've just got to say this: it's espresso ice cream.
Ugh.
That tastes like Starbucks smells. It's the best coffee flavored anything that I've ever had. That's the only way I know to describe it. Is like when you walk in and you get that powerful coffee aroma. Mm-hmm. That's it. Except they made a way for you to eat it.
Wow,
it's fantastic.
I don't like coffee, so that sounds like the worst thing ever.
Well, they also had this
significantly
ridiculous cookies and cream ice cream.
Nice.
And I also had a scoop of salty caramel.
Now that's like my wife's favorite flavor.
Right on. All right, well, gentlemen, we have here. You hear that? That low piano music means we have exhausted our intro, and we are going into the news. Let's get into it. And the news brought to you by patreon.com/NintendoDads, where for as little as $1 a month, you can get you can look through the lens of Nintendo Dads. Is that how we say that? Is that like?
I guess so. Yeah.
Right. I don't know.
The new Patreon lens.
Yeah. So apparently Patreon decided to reinvent Snapchat, Instagram. What is it?
And Vine.
I don't know.
It's like
Vine.
If all of them had a baby, it's his lens.
But here's the difference, Jesse, and I'm gonna blow your mind right now. You have to pay to see our videos and pictures.
What?
Unless we set them
in news. No, basically how it works is that it actually provides creators with another way to be able to show, to provide cool content and make it worth even more for those people who support us. We're able to give a little bit more, so that it's cool. Those of you who want to get on in this, Marty, you've been playing around with it, right?
Way too much.
There you go.
In fact, people are probably tired of seeing. Let's just go back through what I've put up. Let's see. Someone put up, and I'm going to guess this is Justin earlier, Nintendo Sock Day.
Oh, jeez.
And I'm just going to throw this out here. They're extremely dirty Nintendo socks.
What, do they got like little penises on them or something, or what?
No, it's one at mushroom. I'm saying they're filthy.
Oh, I see.
Like there's a hole in one and what looks like coffee stains on the other.
See,
I think
I got a notification when you did the first one, and I didn't get any notifications on any other one.
Well, I sent out a post on Patreon for people to check that Lynn's posts were going up, and so far it's just been pictures of like things I'm eating, and also
it's just like a party on Twitter or on Instagram.
Yeah, and so like, and then I posted a picture of me playing Mario Kart Arcade GP DX.
Which is so.
Which is a lot of it's a lot of letters, but it was just like the little board above it because I was about to start a race, and then I just put up a picture of me recording. There you go. So basically, if you hop over to our Patreon page, you can just watch pictures of my life because I'm Nintendo Dads now, except for the socks. Those are not my socks.
Amazing.
But all of us can do it, like all four of us can contribute to it. I think it's a really cool.
That's pretty rad.
Way to engage. And so go over there. Like you actually have to go to the page to be able to see it. And you actually have to be a patron to go see it. And so if you want to see pictures of hot chicken and dirty socks.
I thought you were going somewhere else with that.
You can pay $1 a month and be a patron.
I like your pictures of hot chicken. Yeah, that's... Not something else. Okay, cool. Well, we've got.
No, you definitely won't see pictures of hot chicks.
No. No. Yeah. All right. So
we broke Marty.
It's been a little quiet this week, right? Yeah. Like we were looking at the news, and as per usual, we're settling. I actually had this thought. I was like, this must be what it feels like to own a PlayStation or an Xbox, where the majority of the news that comes out is like, oh, another game is coming to the platform, yay, and like that's the majority of the news, right?
But that's good news. I mean, like,
it is. No, that absolutely. That's Zach, kind of my point.
Let's go back to 2 years ago, to when it was like, a new game's coming to Wii U. We have to talk about it for 3 months.
I know.
Because we didn't have anything else to talk about. Because
but the thing is, with the other two, that's all the news you get. You don't get any of this weird inside scoop stuff that Nintendo likes to pour all over us.
Yeah, and we're kind of in a weird time right now too, where like Bayonetta's coming out next week, right? And we've got like Kirby coming a month after that, and then Labo, and so I don't know. It's very quiet right now. Like they've been particularly quiet. Oh no, I'm yeah. Oh wow.
Good morning.
That was
so quiet that's making you yawn.
Have you ever had a yawn just sneak up on you and just kind of like jump on you?
Ninja yawn.
Yeah,
especially in the middle of you talking.
In the middle of a sentence, right? Like that was weird.
But I will say this: like, if you think about it, it's kind of good to have a down week like this, since we've had a mini direct, we've had Labo, we've had all kinds of other stuff lately. That we have. That quite frankly, lots of podcasts and lots of Nintendo news outlets have pretty much covered from every angle, right?
Yeah.
And the cool part about that is, and this is news, we can talk about this, right? Gary Gray, who's a friend of the show, is actually going to be on the show next week, and he's going to give us hands-on Labo news. Because guess what? He got in.
Oh, yeah, he did.
Woohoo.
He got into the event, and I'm super excited for him.
He's going that day, right?
Yeah, and so he's going to be on that night and talk about, or that morning for him, and he's going to talk about his experience with Labo. Like, I don't know anybody else who is getting that that kind of exposure or that kind of experience.
Yeah,
I
think we've had 2 or 3 patrons apply, but none of them got in.
Right.
Yeah, the ones stateside at least.
Yeah, man. That's awesome. So I'm excited to talk to him about that next week. And I am excited for, like, do you guys, I haven't seen any pre-order stuff in Canada yet. Maybe that's just because I don't pay as much attention in the last few weeks as I should, but have pre-orders already gone up down there?
Oh yeah, the day of.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks.
I have my pre-orders in, so we'll see.
So I do need to get pre-orders in for that because
like I don't and here's my dilemma on it. Like I know we need to move on, but I don't know when I'm going to give these to my kids because my son's birthday is the 9th of April, right? And he immediately said, "Dad, I want these." And I said, "Okay, we'll get them for your birthday, right? We'll get you one for your birthday." Without knowing the date, without seeing the launch date. And so, do I make him wait?
Just give him an days? Literally just a little piece of paper that says "I owe you one Nintendo Labo."
I owe you Labo.
If you said it, I missed it. But when's his birthday?
The 9th.
Oh, earlier in the month.
It's like 11 days later, Labo comes out.
Yeah.
And so I don't know.
I'm sure he'll understand that it's not your fault.
Here's the deal. Like, Labo comes out on the same day that God of War comes out. And I know we're not supposed to talk about dirty PlayStation games on the show, but oh my gosh, I want to play God of War and I don't want to put together cardboard that day.
Yeah.
But I will. Because I do want to put together. I'm not saying I don't want to put together cardboard. I'm just saying not when I can play God of War.
Yeah.
So
that's kids are in bed.
Here's the thing, like Gary's coming on next week. A week after that, we've got some folks from Thunderful coming on to talk about Faye.
Yeah, dude.
Which is also news. Surprise.
I'm
excited about that.
Did I know that was I don't think I knew that was happening.
Well,
awesome.
You should read the Nintendo Dads section of the Discord.
Yeah, I should do that. That's just in general. I have my life.
Yeah.
Surprise,
if I knew about that, I forgot it too.
Ninja news.
News. Speaking of Ninja news, my Nintendo Gold coins will soon be available. See, that's what you call a Ninja transition.
No, it isn't.
Yeah. Thank you. That's exactly what I needed. So basically, they announced yesterday?
This morning.
This morning. Okay, so my Nintendo. This is straight from the article on my.nintendo.com, which is the My Nintendo website. My Nintendo members already earn gold coins by buying qualifying games. Soon they'll be able to redeem gold coins for eligible digital games and content for the Nintendo Switch system too. Here's how it will work. My guess is that it works exactly the way you think it will. Number one, buy a qualifying digital game for Switch, whatever. Earn gold points worth 5% of the amount you pay, not including any points or discounts used, which is cool, right? Not including points or discounts used. So, and then there's an asterisk that says buying a physical game for the Nintendo Switch will earn you gold coins worth 1% of the Nintendo eShop purchase, which is kind of douchey, Nintendo.
Well,
let's be.
That's actually more than what you're getting now.
That's true.
You can do it. You can do it.
Yeah, but there was, I think it was in a Game Explained video. If you buy a $60 game, you're only getting, or this was in, the example was in pounds, but if it was like a 65-pound game, you were only getting 16 pence. But now you'll get 60 pence.
None the richer. And so
anyway, the moral of that is if you still have physical games you've not claimed yet, don't claim them until this starts. You'll get more for it.
Yeah,
that's good because I always forget to do that.
Yeah, and I only have a handful of physical copy games now. But
I only have one, but my daughter's got a bunch. I might be able to steal them and claim them for myself because
you can claim them on multiple systems, can't you? You just can only do one account per system.
I don't know, but they've never claimed them because they don't care because they don't really buy games much.
Because they hate free games, is what it is, right?
Well, at the time they didn't care. This is basically the Digital Deluxe program Wii U had at launch. But instead of getting 10%, you're only getting 5 or 1%.
Yeah. So anyway, and then basically you can redeem them, and they specifically say games and DLC for the Switch. So my hope is that they will. Oh, I guess this is another piece of news we don't even really need to talk about it. But the second DLC pack for Fire Emblem Warriors is coming out next week. Maybe they'll do that. I doubt it. Like, what DLC are they going to put out? Oh, here you go. I'm going to make a prediction right now. The Zelda DLC will be part of the promotion. Like
sure. Yeah.
Right? Like, that makes way too much sense, because then they can push that to more people, and it'll attract a lot of attention for Switch, right? So, yeah, maybe that's probably what they'll do. So that is, wow, I am all over. So that is, that's, I don't know. I mean, it's about freaking time.
So
but
how many points do you two have built up?
Well, I'm actually looking at mine right now. I'm glad you asked.
I have. Go ahead.
I have 1,300 platinum coins and almost 1,300 gold coins.
Yeah, I have almost 900 gold. So
here's the thing. Here's the thing to keep in mind with that, though, guys, is that we get a lot of download codes, right? And if you use a download code, I think you actually earn points with those.
You do.
At least on Wii U, you did.
Yeah, you still do.
So I have 1,427 platinum and 906 gold, but I spend those coins actually quite frequently for like those stupid wallpapers that they put out, or like 3DS themes or whatever. So
I don't think I've ever spent a gold coin yet.
I'll buy those, and up until now, I had gotten to the point where it's like, you know what, I'm not going to use this on anything else, so I might as well just buy them all.
Yeah, exactly. And the coins only last for a year, right? So if you earn it, then you have to spend it within a year, or you lose it. So use it.
I know I've had some gold coins expire on me.
Yeah. So hey, the Pokemon card game for 3DS right now, you can get 30% off. The Game Boy Color version of that game. So go get that. That's actually really fun. If you enjoy Pokemon card game, it's actually a really good version of that game. So if you've never played that on Game Boy Color, 30% off right now with gold coins. So yeah, that is that's pretty much, you know, that's my Nintendo. There's, again, not a lot going on this week. Like, what else is everybody up, like, what other sort of stories are?
Well, I think we maybe want to talk about this, that there is a pretty big sale going on right now on the Nintendo eShop in the US. There's also one in the UK, but it's different as well. And these are like deals from like anywhere from 10% to 40% off of games right now. And notable ones, Golf Story is on sale for the first time for $11.99. Nice. Jackbox Party Pack 4 is on sale for $19.99. Retro City Rampage DX is on sale for $9.99. Rocket League is on sale again for $14.99. As well as every single bit of downloadable content for Rocket League is 25% off right now.
What?
Yes.
That's crazy train. Oh,
I'm
hey,
about to spend a bunch of money.
You guys, Super Beat Sports is on sale. I don't know how much it is.
Yes, and you need to, like, seriously.
Do you have it? Do you have it? It's
so
good, dude. It's
also Spelunker Party is on sale for $14.99.
Nice.
And we played that as a family, the demo, and it was pretty fun.
Nice. I'm looking through this now. You know, I have to admit that Brawl Out, even though it's 25% off, I still have no desire to shovel money out for that game.
There was an update that was put out.
Yeah.
Speak for it, and I know a lot of it was online matchmaking, but I saw that some of it too was control issues and things like that, and I haven't been able to try it out yet. But I'm gonna try it and maybe shoot out some tweets about it tomorrow, because I was kind of harsh on that game when it first came out.
Yeah, and like I don't know. Well, like I'm interested in if you feel like it makes it good or if it's just kind of meh.
You know, like I expected it to be super tight controls like Smash,
mm-hmm.
and I didn't really see I didn't feel that at all when it first came out. But this past weekend, I got to play. I played video games almost all. Well, not almost all. But for 2 or 3 hours Friday night with a bunch of students from my church. And it was a bunch of us guys, and we were staying over at somebody's house and after an event, and we were just playing. And so we played some Mario Kart, we played some Jackbox, we played Brawl Out, and they had a blast with it.
Cool.
And like, I'm sitting there and I'm wanting to say, do y'all not think the controls on this kind of suck? You don't think it's a little too No, they didn't care.
And
they
know
had
what?
A great time.
I think that might be sort of the curse of being the video game critic, for lack of a better video game pundit, is that like you start to recognize like, hey, this isn't as good as that other thing, right? And then you just end up. I personally find that I feel that like I've been playing. I find myself lately gravitating towards certain kinds of games, like the number of twin stick shooters that I have played in the past month is ridiculous, right? Or like I've really started to notice the number of 2D platformers that like it's become more and more obvious to me, and more and more like kind of grates on me, I guess. And so it's interesting.
And I think for me, like I get exactly what you're saying, and it makes me gravitate toward games that are different, right? Mm-hmm. And we're going to talk about some of those here in just a minute.
Yeah, either that or games that are really, really good versions of that too, right? Like, that's also for sure.
Yeah. So on the flip side of this, Nintendo UK has announced a new sale as well that's going on right now called the Share the Joy sale, which I think is brilliant. Like, okay, Nintendo of America, why are you not doing this? They have slashed prices on a variety of eShop titles. Rocket League, FIFA 18, Overcooked Special Edition are all somewhere in the neighborhood of up to 50% off.
Nice.
And so,
here we go.
Like, okay, let's see here. Ultra Street Fighter 2, Mario and Rabbids, FIFA 18, Puyo Puyo Tetris, Rocket League, Demambo, Enter the Gungeon, Fast RMX, Human Fall Flat, Overcooked, Worms WMD. All of those are up to 50% off.
Nice. Yeah, this is cool. Well, okay, question. Yeah, and we really should move on here in a second here. But did anybody here play Wolverblade?
I did not.
No.
That looks. I'm just looking at the art's catching my eye, but maybe
it looks good. It just like it was one of those weeks where like 30 games came out.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's, I don't know. There's not a whole lot of news this week, folks, if you can't tell, but that is basically the news. I don't know. Like, I feel like maybe we can spend a little more time talking about games we've been playing. Yeah, this is like a 2D brawler sort of. It's like Golden Axe kind of. Anyway, that's Wolverblade, but it's on sale in the States. So, or no, in Europe. Yeah, and I don't know any other stores. There's literally like nothing else. So, other than just the fact that things are continuing to go well on the Switch, right? Like, I just put that one up on the board, and we can just repeat that story every week. So, here's another story. I'm just scanning through headlines. Sega says Sonic Forces performed well at retail. Another case of rewarding, I don't know, mediocre behavior. I don't know.
Again, my son loved it, and
yeah, that's true. That's true.
And I think that we're not the audience, right?
Or yeah, exactly.
20 or 30 something dads are not the audience for Sonic Forces, other than the fact that this will make my kid leave me alone for 24 hours, hopefully.
My son played a ton of that game, and then he got to the end where the difficulty spikes, and he got really frustrated, which for him, having spent so much time dedicated to it, for him to not be able to beat it was really frustrating for him.
Well, and he frustrates me when that happens.
Yeah, where all of a sudden the end of the game it just spikes. It was really frustrating for him, but he did. Yeah, he really enjoyed that game too, for sure. So, All right, let's get into. Let's just, you know what? We're just gonna jump straight into what we've been playing. This because sometimes you just gotta embrace the flow. I don't know what that means. Let's do it. All right, and I just realized how A, my mic was a little quiet, and B, that music was way louder. So my apologies if I blew your ears out, especially podcast listeners at home.
Sounded fine from my end. So
okay, cool.
Same here.
Okay, cool. So we've got a few games to talk about, right? Of course, we've got games that we've been playing on our own. Maybe I'll go first this week. I have been playing more Skyrim, which is really fun. I have never played Skyrim before.
Is more Skyrim a sequel to Skyrim?
Yep. More Skyrim.
It's a DLC.
Yeah, more Skyrim. Yeah, I would do it. And I seriously, I know I said this on our Patreon, the Retro Rewind. I seriously would love if they just made Metroid Prime 4 Skyrim in space. Like, that is what I want right now. So let's make that happen, Nintendo. Just Skyrim in space. That's what I want. Like first person view, like it would just be the perfect sort of combination, right? So just do that, Nintendo. Skyrim in space. Other things that I have been playing, a little game called, I haven't played a bunch of it yet, just a couple of levels so far, but a game called Mad Carnage, which is it's pretty clearly inspired by like Mad Max, like sort of post-apocalyptic race car fighting sort of thing. But the thing that's interesting is that it's a turn-based strategy game, and so you are controlling your car in like a grid, right? Which you wouldn't think is something interesting. I'll have more impressions of it next week. But essentially, it has this like momentum mechanic where depending on how many squares you move on your turn, that determines if you end up being like, or it has an impact on the next round, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So if you go one square, then that's sort of, you're going at one speed. If you decide to go 3 squares, which you can, that impacts how much momentum you get. I'm trying to remember exactly how it is. It might be that you can only like increase your speed 1 square per round. So if you can go like 1 or 2 squares the first round, but then the second round, then you could go like 3 squares if you wanted. But if you go 3 squares and then the next turn you have to turn, like on the next round you have to turn, then that may be really difficult for you. Like you actually have to plan like what your straightaways are and how you're moving around the map, and plan your movement.
So you have to have a deceleration time before you can make a significant turn. Like
so you don't want to speed up to a corner and then try and turn around it, because you may end up crashing your car. So it's kind of cool in that way.
Interesting.
I'm not super crazy about sort of the visual presentation of it, or like it's pretty text heavy. It's an indie game and it's fairly cheap, but I don't know. It's kind of there's something about it that I like. There's a little spark in there, like underneath all of that at least early on, my early impressions are there's a little bit of a spark underneath there that seems like there's some good ideas that I hope they build on, if that makes sense. So I will report back on Mad Carnage, but yeah. Finally, the last one that I have been playing is a game, I think it came out today on the eShop. It's called Aperian Cyberstorm. And it is a twin stick shooter similar to I don't know, Asteroid kind of deal, right? Like where it's like that sort of top down, you control, left stick is control your spaceship, right stick is control your shooting stuff. You can collect new ships, new weapons, power up your weapons, swap out weapons for different weapons, all that kind of stuff. Very similar to a game that came out, not necessarily in visual style. It's actually much more of like a vector graphics look. But as far as gameplay goes, it's similar-ish to, what was it, Graceful Explosion Machine? If you guys remember that when the Switch first came out. The difference being that you actually are going through big maps and you're kind of like spiraling through the maps, and there's lots of kiting enemies in this game, I'm noticing, where you're kind of just like backing up and shooting as you go, and then sort of like using your boost attack to go through enemies to the other side and then shooting them from that side and then boosting back and shooting that way. It's actually, if anything, it's not difficult enough for me right now, even though there are enemies. I feel like I maybe have too much health. Maybe, I don't know. Or maybe I'm just super good at this game. I don't know. But that's another game, and that one is also on the eShop and available now. You know, just a couple of indie games I've been playing. Other than that, it's just been Skyrim and a lot of, I don't know. I actually haven't played a whole lot of video games this week. As I look back on this week, I kind of wonder where all my time has gone. Actually, it's just been one of those weird weeks where you look back and you're like, what happened to this week? It's been weird. So that's basically where I've been this week, what I've been playing. What about you, Jesse? What have you been playing?
So I'm continuing my playthrough of Final Fantasy VI, and based on the notes, looks like Marty also has been playing some too. I didn't get as far in as I wanted to. You know, so I think last week I had played 2 sessions, and I've only gotten 1 more session in, so I need to start ramping that up. So I'm going to play most of it before the end of the month. But it's what I remember. It's I'm looking, and I know with the that opera house scene that is my favorite is probably coming up in another 2 or 3 hours for me.
Nice.
So yeah, what I plan on doing with my next session is playing up to that opera house and then stopping, and then so the entire opera house sequence will be pretty much like my entire episode 5.
Right on, man. That's cool. And that's, again, if for new listeners of the show, that is the most important moment in video games for you, is it not?
That is of all games, that is my favorite scene and has been my favorite music. My favorite song.
Very cool. Right on, man. And so you've been playing that. What else have you've been playing something else too, right? Or at least you've started?
Yeah, I started Night in the Woods, and I'm not sure how long this game is. This is one of those weird games for me. It's kind of like, it's not really a game as much as it is like an interactive story. It just seems like I'm just walking around and talking to people. Mm-hmm. You know, no, not much different than like what your visual novel would be, but at least you're walking around and doing things and interacting with objects. But it's, not really a game of sorts. So I'm liking the story, and I want to know how it continues, but it just seems to slog on. And I'm like, okay, is this thing almost done? I hope so. I don't know. I think I just started what I called Part 3. Not sure how far into the game that is, but I'm working through that. It's the story is basically let's see, a little backstory is you grew up in a small town with a population so low that everyone knows everybody, and everyone knows that everything everybody has done. And there was some event that happened close to when you graduated high school. So, and people reminded me of this event, but I don't know exactly what this event is, other than it ended up sending a kid to the hospital. But, so you went off to college, and 2 years later, you came home. And so you're interacting with this old town of yours, seeing how, everything has changed, everyone has changed, but the only person who hasn't changed is you. Because you're still that same person that left the town and just came back 2 years later, but everyone else had to grow up. Had to take on jobs, take responsibilities, and then and in some cases, your character ends up kind of being a jerk and really pissing people off.
And you're also a cat.
Yeah. This town is a whole bunch of anthropomorphic animals.
This town reminds me of like what you remember the old MTV series Real World?
Unfortunately.
Yeah, like, this is what happens when people stop being nice and start getting real. This is Animal Crossing Real World. It really is.
Yeah.
And I would say I've been playing this game too, and I'm going to throw the disclaimer out on this on the front end. This is not a dad approved game. All right, like, and when I say dad approved, what I mean by that is like a family friendly game.
Yeah,
this is not one that you should play with your young kids.
Characters swear, so
yeah, and there's swearing and there's also several adult themes discussed, at least up till where I am, and there's other things like there's a severed arm in one part.
Yeah, and that's still unresolved.
Can be a little bit traumatic.
That's still unresolved. We don't know what that's all about.
Right. Yeah. So
how far into the game are you?
There's some stuff. I sat down and played. Like, I've only played it once. I've only booted it up once and played it, but I put a pretty significant chunk of time into it in my first playthrough, and I am about to go to a party in the woods.
Okay. Yeah. That's really early.
So like I think I'm like maybe 2 hours into it.
That sounds about right. Yeah, and
I've seen some reviews and articles about this game online this week specifically about the attitude of the main character and how that comes across in the game and how she treats people.
Yeah, but on the other hand, I relate to that.
Yeah,
yeah, because that's exactly how my kids act around certain people.
Right, and so I think that some of them I've seen have been a little bit skewed toward I'm just older and I don't understand this, or I don't kind of see how things are. But like working with teenagers on a semi-daily basis, like I'm like I know people like this,
right? Yeah,
I get this.
And one thing I like about this game is it plays with itself a little bit. Everyone still considers you a kid because everyone sees you as the similar as when you were in high school. So an adult character will say, "Hey, kid," and your initial reaction is to correct him with adult.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, not even no. I'm an adult. I'm 20. It's just one word, adult. And she does that. She does that multiple times. So she.
Like for fans of games like Maniac Mansion or Return to Monkey Island or that type of the point and click adventure, I guess this is kind of the natural evolution of that. It's not so much point and click, but it is you are combining different things that you find around town, and you're hunting down clues, and you're having conversations with things you probably need to remember, and there is a little bit of puzzle element to it as well, but. The one thing that caught me off guard, and I know you've gotten there because you're farther along than me, is the rhythm game.
Yeah.
Band
practice.
Yeah, the main character's name is May, and May apparently used to be in a band. And when you go to her room for the first time, there's a bass guitar, and you can like interact with it, and it's like, well, should I play it? And so you play this song, and it sounds terrible. And it's not good. Even if you find yourself doing really good on it and you put it down, and I think this is kind of an example of like how you're saying the game plays with itself is you put the guitar down and your character thinks, a little thought bubble comes out. It's like, oh, not bad, especially since I didn't even know that song to begin with.
Right.
And so it's like sharing your experience as a player. You don't know the song, but you have to play it. And later on, as Jesse said, there's a band practice scene where you suddenly get thrown into this having to play along with the song, and it's like a music video. Like they're all the animals are playing and singing, and I mean it's I don't know, the vibe I get from it's pretty cool. I've enjoyed my time with it.
Yeah, and May, isn't used to the fact that they no longer have a real drummer. They have someone playing a soft drum kit on a laptop, and that's their drummer. And she's like, "You're not on drums. You're playing a computer." That makes no sense.
That's funny.
There are other mini games in there. You haven't gotten to your own laptop yet, have you?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so have you? There's it's like a dungeon crawling game.
Yeah, it's like Demon. Oh, now I'm gonna have to go look it up.
Yeah,
Demon Tower.
Yeah, so it kind of jumps you right in the middle of a game, and I think like level 10. Like I cleared level 10 and then couldn't figure out how to clear level 11, and I haven't gone back to it since.
It's a neat little game. I mean, and it almost. I mean, like I look at it, I'm like, man, this is actually really good. You know,
as a standalone game, that could probably be a $4 game on eShop, and still be decent.
Yeah.
And then,
so like
there are other little
question
mini
to you,
games.
though, is this is like, I know you play a lot of role-playing games. I know you play a lot of adventure games like this. Like, do you recommend this game, like, so far as what you've put in it? Because, like, I heard, like, when it came out on Steam and it came out on PS4 and everything, like, people were just raving about this game.
If you're wanting, like, an action adventure-ish, you're not going to get that here.
No.
This is basically... This is a story. The game's got a story to tell. I just haven't found it yet, or I haven't. It's slowly revealing itself.
And how far into it would you say you are?
See, I don't know how many chapters there are. I think it's.
I'm just saying, like, how many hours have you put into it?
I'm probably 6 or 8 hours in.
Okay.
So
and you're still in the dark about things.
Yeah. There's near the end of part 2, which I didn't even know when part 2 started. All of a sudden, I'm in part 3. So I must have missed that. But at the end of part 2 is Halloween. And so the city goes through this annual festival. And then there's a mysterious event that happens at the end of the night. And then I'm like, okay, now the story is starting to show itself a little bit, finally. And then... Talking, I don't know where that's going to go. I probably will find out. Hopefully, we'll find out soon. I hope the story ends up filling in these loose ends that it's left. And there are other types of mini games as you play through. Like there's one where you literally are shoplifting from a wall.
That's awesome. Real quick, did you any other games you've been playing, dude? You've been playing
See, the only other game I've been playing, I started to play was Dragon Quest Builders. We got an advanced review code from the Nintendo of Europe, and I was hoping I could just continue from where the demo left off, but it made me start over. So I'm not sure if that's just the way the game works, or if because I downloaded the game and the demo from different regions, which I think it's a low chance of that. The way all the games are all tied together, but so I basically had to start over. So I didn't get farther than the demo yet. I only got like a half hour in. I did do a let's play of it, recorded it, and I tried talking and commentating, which I've always said I'm lousy at, and the levels are awful. The game was too loud and my voice was too soft, so you can't hear a word I'm saying anyway.
So hey, check that out, guys.
So yeah, that video I'm still posting that video. It's scheduled to go out tomorrow morning. So
okay,
but just sorry about the audio quality, but you're probably not listening it to hear me. You're watching it to see what the game's about, and that still gets across.
And by the way, even if you're even remotely interested in this game, go play that demo because it's friggin' it has me. I'm not really in a place right now where I want to pick it up necessarily, like Dragon Quest Builders, but I am. Yeah, I have put it on my wish list, I guess.
I enjoyed the demo, and I think I probably put like another 6 or 8 hours into that demo.
Yeah, it's really fun.
There is a specific stop point in terms of the story that it won't let me go by to get past, but it still will let me just wander around and kill stuff and make more things. It just won't advance the story.
Yeah, right on, man.
Yes. So yeah.
What,
I didn't get very far in my new playthrough, but I'll plan on playing through more of that probably when I'm done with Night in the Woods.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing your impressions on it for sure. So
of course, then I also have the next week I plan on buying the Radiant Historia re-release. So
geez,
just another game for the backlog.
Yeah, right on. Marty, what have you been playing, dude?
Oh man, so I've been playing. I've been playing a couple games that have been sent to us. One of them I can talk about. One of them I can't. The one I can't, I'll just go ahead and tell you. I've been playing The Fall 2, which comes out this coming Tuesday on the eShop. And I'll just go ahead and say, if you're looking for a Metroid-style 2D game on the Switch, this one is a good bet. It's got a pretty good. I would say it's got a pretty good atmosphere. If you've played the Fall 1, and if you haven't, it will catch you up, in the story. But basically, the story is you're playing as a rogue AI who can take different bodies and use them. And so you're like at the start of the game, you're trying to break out, like you're trying to come into your own and be able to get out. And it's definitely different.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely get like a Metroid or even Axiom Verge vibe from it.
Cool.
But of course, next week too, we've got Xeodrifter coming out.
Yeah, actually,
from Atui.
I actually did start playing that today, thanks to both Atui and Rogers Base as well. But yeah, I've been playing that. Dude, I forgot how friggin' this game's good. I really like it, and also
music is incredible.
And also, that first boss, the first.
Oh my gosh! Yes, completely. Yeah,
the boss is just like terrible.
So I've been playing The Fall, and next week I'll get to talk about it a little bit more. There'll be a video up on YouTube as well, so I'm excited about that. I've been playing Final Fantasy VI in a little bit of off time, and I'm nowhere near as far as some of our folks are. I just. I guess found Sabin's house, and I'm about to go up the mountain to find him because it's the part of the game where that's happening. What?
The punchy punch dude. Right?
Oh yeah, the one that you actually have to do like fighting game style combos to do his special attacks.
Yeah.
And I've also been playing Night in the Woods, but the game I've been spending a lot of time with lately is Dendara from Raw Fury, and we again got a review copy of this. And it totally was not what I expected. Okay.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Okay, it's a little bit of both. All right. So when I first saw this game on the Nindy Direct, I immediately was drawn into it. It was, it was a pixel platformer. At least I thought it was. And, it had this really cool looking aesthetic. It had a non-conventional main character. And then I downloaded the game, and I found out that I guess I hadn't done a lot of research on it or whatever. Totally not a 2D platformer in a sense. So in Dendara, you play as the title character Dendara, who has been who kind of is created or is made to go and fight this oppression of these people who live in something called the Salt. Okay. And the salt is basically like snow, or I guess it's actually salt that like lines different walls and different floors in this world. And that's all that Dendara can touch. Okay, so there's actually no control of her, her direct movement, I guess is hard to say. What you do is you push the control stick and it draws a line to from point A to point B. And when you press A, she leaps to the end point of that line if it's in range. Okay? So you literally have to leap from patches of salt back and forth and everywhere. And she also has an attack that is the same way. Like you hold down the button and you move around to aim it. And then when you let it go, she attacks. but it's not like a rapid fire attack. It like there has to be strategy and there has to be planning about what you're going to do, and you can get quickly overwhelmed. And even Justin was talking about this because he was really excited about the game, about how like tough this game is, right? And so what you end up getting is not a 2D run and gun platformer, but like a very strategic Metroidvania style game, right? That has some incredible music, and just the concept of it is really cool. The only gripe that I have about it again is the controls weren't what I thought they were going to be, and also the difficulty is out of this world, man. It like I've not played a game that's been this hard because like I'm at a part where I'm in this room where I have to leap onto platforms that rotate and you're going vertically up through this room, and there's literally like 10 or 15 guards on each side who are shooting at you constantly.
Oh, geez.
Right. So you have to like ping pong between all these platforms to get to the top. And I can't do it. And so when you die, you go back to these tents or base camps that you find. And those are so few and far between that, it makes it a long trek back.
Yeah. That's brutal.
And so, I mean, like, I like the game.
Uh-huh.
But, like, and I can't recommend it right now. And here's why. I pretty much recommend most games I play, right? So I can't recommend this game right now. And the reason for that is, like, I'm not far enough into it yet to see the value. And I know that sounds terrible. But, like, I need to see that, like, does it get easier? Do I get more abilities? Because, like, right now I don't know. Right now I have the ability to leap between platforms and I can shoot, and the combat mechanism is actually kind of frustrating. Yeah. Because, like, I don't know. Right now I can't recommend it. I'll tell you what, I'll play it some more and I'll come back next week and I'll tell you what I think.
Right on, man. That's I can respect that. Well, and that's the thing, right? Is that like I feel like sometimes when we're doing these reviews too, it's just like, it's hard to tease out. Do I just suck at this game, or do I hate this game because of my own personal tastes, or what? And so, I can respect that for sure, and like I understand the idea of like, you know what? I don't know if this is actually like, yeah, I don't know. I tend to, at that point, just kind of gravitate towards like, hey guys, here's something I am enjoying, right? And so, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Anything else? Like, what else? Are we missing anything? I think that's about it, right?
That's everything I've been playing.
I do want to say this. We've gotten and I know we're talking about like the Switch is, inundated with games, right? I'm just going to throw this out here that because of the amount of review codes that we've received in the past 7 months or so, I had to buy another micro SD card.
Oh, dude, I'm getting close, and I have a big one.
And I'm going to throw a gripe out there.
Yes.
And here's the gripe.
I'm on the edge of my seat. I'm ready. Right. I'm ready for this.
I'm running out of save space.
Yeah.
And the save files only save to your Switch itself.
Yep.
So what happens when I'm out of save space room, but I have more room for games?
Yeah. Wait, say that again. So yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying.
So what happens when the storage on my...
Well, I don't think that the save space, the save files are never really that big, right?
Minecraft's is 6 gigs.
For the save data, or for the game itself?
For the save data.
Wow. Okay. Well,
and that's the biggest one. Like, that's the biggest chunk, and I can't delete that because that's my son would kill me if I deleted Minecraft save.
How big? That is crazy to me.
And I mean, there's others that are like, I have so many games now that I have.
I'm looking. Oh, you still there?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No.
I thought you were going to say something like.
No, go ahead.
Like I'm at a point where I have so many save files, like for so many games. They're small, but they've piled up, right?
Yeah.
Because once the OS is on there, just a clean install of the Switch, there's still not 32 gigs on there.
Yeah.
So I've got to either, like, I know some people are saying cloud saves. I don't really care. Like, I just need another place to save my games.
Dude, yours is your save data is 6 gigs.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at this total, including my save data, is 962 megabytes.
Well, it's probably because every time my son plays Minecraft, he starts a world.
There you go. Yeah, that'll do it.
So we're going to do some world maintenance tomorrow.
You're going to do some trimming, I think. So we
need to do some trimming. But still, I mean, like, that'll free up maybe 5 gig. That's fine. And that probably won't go as fast, but come on, Nintendo.
Oh man, and I saw Brian Altano's Twitter thing. Was it last week that I saw that? And he sent his tweet. Of all the people to have that happen to, one of the Nintendo voice chat hosts having that happen to. That's just bad news, man.
It's unacceptable.
It really is.
Call it what it is. It's unacceptable for the time we live in, for my save data to not even, like, can I not even transfer it from my Switch's storage to an SD card? Why?
How hard is it to have it on that SD card? That is crazy. That's crazy to me. That you should at least have the choice, because that way, when things go wrong, you blame yourself instead of Nintendo.
That is the number one reason that when my left blue neon Joy-Con stopped clicking in with the right stick, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed it during a game of Splatoon because I could not trigger my special.
Yeah.
And so I called Nintendo and they're like, "Oh yeah, we'll repair it for you, but you have to send in the whole Switch."
And you're like, "Nope."
And I was like, "You know what? No, I'm just going to go buy a new blue Joy-Con." And I did.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Forget it."
Yeah.
Because I had heard so many of those horror stories, and there shouldn't be horror stories.
There is no way that I will send my Switch to Nintendo before they patch that in. There's no way. Like that's craziness. All right, let's get into some emails, shall we? It's going to be a short show tonight, guys, but I don't know. Be grateful. I don't know. That's not what I meant. No. Sometimes it's a slow week, and so it's shorter show. But here we go.
I don't think your music worked.
Oh, hang on. You know what? Let's try that again. Let's try that again. There we go. There we go. That's better. I was doing something on this phone, and I have a way to listen to it in my headphones and not have it pipe through to the computer. And apparently that's what I did. Okay, so
well, before we start, I wanted to comment on something from the chat, and I forget who asked. I'm sorry, but someone asked if we heard any information on Dragon Quest XI yet, about if it's going to be coming for the Switch. And as far as I know, it hasn't been announced if anything's happening. 'Cause last thing I heard is it will get a release in North America sometime this year for PS4 and 3DS, and they're hoping for Switch, but they've never said one way or the other yet.
Cool. The more you know. All right. So the listener mail brought to you by oneupbox.com. Go over there, use the code NintendoDads, save $3 off your first box. Let's read some emails. Jesse, do you want to read the first one, since this one appears to be your neighbor?
Sure. Hey, Nintendo Dads. I just listened to your episode on Metroid Prime. I really loved that game when it came out, but I have to agree that some aspects of the game have not held up well. When I replayed the game, I quickly became annoyed with the space pirates. I just wanted to get to where I was trying to go without having to stop and fight these guys all the time. It made me think that the game would have been better if it focused more on the exploration aspect rather than the first-person shooter aspect. The exploration in that game was great, and the visuals were fantastic. The platforming at times was frustrating, but mostly okay. Oh, and waiting for those doors to open after shooting them? Ugh. I have high hopes, but low expectations for Metroid Prime 4. Nintendo could go so many ways with this game. I really hope they're able to capture the magic that Breath of the Wild had with the exploration. To me, that's the key to making this a great Metroid game. From Jesse's neighbor across the river, Ryan Interlead.
Nice. Yeah. It's funny. For some reason, like for me, the doors, sometimes they were not bad, and sometimes it was unbearable. It was just come on.
That's the loading time. So.
Oh yeah, exactly. And I think at the time I remember thinking, hey, that's kind of clever. Like, I see what you're doing here, but also, all right. Like it's kind of that sort of suspension of disbelief almost, but yeah, no, I agree at the same time. Like I kind of feel like, okay. I don't know. I feel like it is what it is. It's like any game. I've been playing Skyrim, right? And that game is also a little bit of it is of its time, I guess, right? Like it's a little bit clunky. It's a little bit, it's definitely janky. I'll say that for sure. Like I remember just today, actually, I had just stumbled upon this vampire cave, right? And I was sneaking in so that I could take out the master vampire before all of them swarmed me. And I'm sitting there watching him, and I'm crouched down. And for the video podcast listeners, you can see, but like, for audio, basically, he was right here, like sitting at this table, and then all of a sudden, burp, he's on the other side of the table. Then all of a sudden, burp, like he's just like glitching back and forth or whatever. I was just like, why?
Welcome to a Bethesda game.
Yeah, exactly, right. And so I was just like, that doesn't even make sense. Like that just is weird. There's no reason for that to happen. He's just standing next to a table. But anyways, so yeah, like I feel like there's a couple things I think it's part of playing an older game is kind of just having it be, a product of its time, for lack of a better way of saying that, right? But also I feel like there are some games that age better than others, and I'm really looking forward to the update to this franchise, because I think it'll be really good. So I don't know. Yeah. Any other, like, I guess is more of a thought than a question, but I really appreciate the email. Of course, if you guys want to email nintendodads@gmail.com, Marty, or does anybody else want to add to this before we go on to the next email?
I've got nothing.
Like as Jesse was reading that, the picture that came to my mind was of Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild had combat, but it was mostly exploration, right? Mm-hmm. It was mostly about finding your way through this giant world. And you weren't getting jumped by space pirates or Lizalfos or whatever constantly. I mean, there were dangers, and there were enemies, and at times there were plenty of them.
And there was spontaneous combustion.
Not consistently, right? Not all the time. And so, like, I'm not saying just clone Breath of the Wild and make Metroid, because I don't think it would be anywhere near the game that Breath of the Wild was, simply because people would say, oh, it's formulaic. They're just ripping off Breath of the Wild, but maybe there's something there, like as Ryan talks about, having more exploration. Mm-hmm. I mean, I would be down for that. Mm-hmm. I would totally be okay with that. But you've got to get the balance right. Part of the problem with Metroid Prime was you'd kill space pirates, and then you'd walk back through that hallway 10 minutes later, and there's all 15 of them again.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I hear.
So, and you've got like, a 15-minute, well, not 15, but you got like a 5-10 minute battle right there, and hoping you don't die just so you can get back to a place that maybe you forgot something or whatever. Yeah. It was totally unbalanced. Yeah,
totally. I don't know, dude. I I'm looking forward to the other ones. We'll see how it goes. I think it'll be exciting. So, I'll. I was just about to say I'll read the next one, and then Marty can read the next one. But Marty, you can read the next one because I feel like I'll read the longer one. Anyways.
Okay. So, if the NES, or I'm sorry, this is from Chris in Cambridge, says if the Nintendo Switch is getting a Netflix type of service when the online service launches in September, what does this mean for virtual console games on the 3DS? Will they stop adding titles for that as well? My answer to you, yes.
Are they, other than the Pokemon Company, they already have.
Yeah, yeah. Virtual Console's dead.
They're still releasing Virtual Console for Wii U. Like Image Fight and Image Fight 2 launched today. So I think they'll still trickle in.
Really?
Yeah.
Why Nintendo?
So I think they'll still trickle in games on
Here's
3DS.
my question is, why are they wasting their resources on this?
I don't know.
When they know everybody and their brother is saying, where is Virtual Console on the Switch? Nintendo's like, oh, you want Virtual Console, do you? Here's 2 games on the Wii U.
And apparently, Aperian Cyberstorm also was released in Wii U.
Yeah.
Which means it was originally intended for the Wii U.
You know what's the thing
here's
is,
the deal. Like, I think you'll see like the occasional trickle out like this, but you're not going to see en masse Virtual Console like every week like we have in the past. It's not going to happen. That is because
I think
the
it'll
3DS
continue to slow, and
the 3DS is dying. It's and like at this point, the 3DS is like the old family dog who's half blind, has lost half a leg in a car accident, and can't do anything other than drink water, scoot around the room, and eat non-crunchy food.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's like everybody knows that it's time, but nobody wants to be the guy.
Yeah.
And like you say stuff, Nintendo says stuff like, oh, we're still developing for the 3DS. Well, that's like saying maybe he'll get better. No, but his leg's not growing back. And, he's not going to get new eyes.
Over his body. He's got like
it's like, I kind of want to borrow like Game Over Greggy's PC rant here.
Sounds like you have a zombie
Take
dog.
3DS, throw it into the ground, shovel dirt on top of it with the Nintendo Switch. Bam, it's done. 3DS gaming sucks. No, but I won't say that because I enjoy my 3DS. But
And then again,
like,
I'm
here's the thing.
planning on buying a 3DS game next week.
Okay, let me say this. I enjoy my 3DS and I enjoy 3DS gaming, but there's a time when we need to stop enjoying 3DS gaming. I mean, like, if you want to keep it and you want to enjoy it as a legacy system, great. But if you don't want it, like, there's a time where we need to just be like, Nintendo, let it go.
Let it go.
Yeah, I knew you were going there. I really did. Like, I knew that was going to happen. But like, let it go, and just let your teams make really good portable games for the Switch.
Don't forget about Detective Pikachu coming.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I'm gonna buy Detective Pikachu.
Oh, I've got that pre-ordered.
You're part of the problem then.
I'm not part of the problem, no, because the game already exists. If I'm part of the problem, if I'm sitting here going, yes, Nintendo, please continue to develop for the dead puppy console.
Wasn't that game?
You know what though?
Released in Japan 2 years ago.
Here's the thing. Yeah. Exactly. And I know that's I understand that Detective Pikachu is a little bit different in that sense. But having said that, it's like. It's like I don't want to make a domestic violence joke, but there's probably one in there somewhere. Is all I'm saying.
You want me to say something offensive? Because I will. Okay. It's like grandma needs to go to the nursing home and nobody will take her.
Yeah. Well, and not only that, but like it's like everybody knows, but they don't want to be the one to say it either, right?
Yep.
I don't know.
I'll be the butthole that says it. 3DS, it's time to go.
Yeah, there you go.
We've got some prunes and a rocking chair over here for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some depends.
But no, like to truly answer the question, I don't think we're going to continue to see mass releases of Virtual Console. Now, will one maybe leak out? every now and then, sure.
Yeah. Here's the thing, though, Marty, is that they have said as recently as that investors call, they are continuing to make games for the 3DS. They're continuing to develop software. So that's a part of the deal, right? And I like it because it's there. And I think, to play devil's advocate for a minute as well, as long as that is as long as the 3DS is serving a portion of the market, a certain price range, right? The Switch is a $300 console. As long as they can target a different demographic, a different price slot that is cheaper, then theoretically, at least, they're serving two different markets, right? And so for them not to serve the market that exists and continues to demonstrate through its behavior and its buying habits that they will continue to support it, then they would be foolish not to. In fact, you could say that they're irresponsible in not supporting the 3DS because it's leaving money on the table. And not only that, but it's almost like just their presence in the market and staying there is preventing a power vacuum, or right, like basically preventing somebody else from coming in and saying, hey, Nintendo has the Switch, but it's a $300 console. Suddenly Sony decides, hey, now's the perfect time for us to sweep in with a $100 handheld, and boom, suddenly Sony's super successful, and they've taken the feet out from Nintendo on that cheaper price point.
Vita XL.
Like, all of that's what's important. So, what was that?
Vita XL.
Vita Micro or something.
3D Vita.
3D Vita, right? Like, but again, because it's it's the smaller price point, and the fact that it is success, like it's almost just like I don't know. It reminds me of that Fantastic Four movie they made in the 90s. This is a super obscure reference, but they made it for like $1 million, and they never even released it to theaters. They only made it so that they could hang on to the license and they could hold on to that ground.
Right.
Like, that's what this movie, or that's what the 3DS is at this point. It's just so that it's basically sitting there until they can manufacture a Switch for cheap enough, and they can't do it yet. So until they can do that, I don't think that they're gonna. I don't think the 3DS is ever gonna go away, because they don't want to give up that price point. So that's
at this point. Like, here's what I'd really like to see them do at this point. I would really like to see them manufacture a smaller and cheaper Switch without removable Joy-Cons and just kill the 3DS.
Well, I'm sure that's coming. It's just they're not able to get it down cheap enough yet.
Yeah, I don't think they can do it cheap enough yet. I think that's honestly what
my 2019 maybe.
Yeah, and you know what? I guarantee you, as soon as they can do it, they will do it, and they will kill the 3DS at that point.
Yeah, I think it's got to be like $150 price point, or otherwise it wouldn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
Which lands about where the non-XL 3DSs landed in price.
But the thing is that when the 3DS came out, they were selling it for $249.
Well,
so
they had an ego on them because they had an ego on them because of the Wii.
Knock off the price of the Joy-Cons, right? Knock off the price of the Joy-Con and take out some of the more expensive tech in them, because there's some things you're not going to be able to do with a Switch Mini.
Oh,
that would take, like, you're not going to be able to play 1-2 Switch. There's certain games that aren't going to work. So
one thing that's going to confuse people, I think, is you're not going to be able to use this with Labo. That's going to piss people off.
Oh, you know what? That actually is a huge, Jesse. That statement made me completely rethink that possibility that they will ever do a smaller version, a different form.
Yeah,
that's a great point.
I just thought of it and I went, "Oh, that's going to hurt."
You know what?
Unless they make this thing the size that it could slide in there.
Yeah, like they would have to come. Like, I don't think they will. But
then you've got to detach Joy-Cons to make things work. So yeah, that's not going to happen.
Like smaller Switch screen,
you can still buy another detached Joy-Con paired to the Switch Mini, and that would work. But the screen would still have to be small enough to fit right.
Yeah,
that'll make things more complicated.
It would cost way too much confusion for them to make a smaller Switch at this point.
And expecting them to buy another $80 set of Joy-Con.
Yeah, I think that Nintendo is playing the long game here. They're willing to let that 3DS sit on the shelves for years to come, and because you're right. I think that the Labo is a huge indicator, just specifically because of the price point, that this is the Switch that we have for a while, right? And then it's
another thing that we need to think about too is like this, they say that they're going to support it, for they're going to continue to make software, but that could just be, we're going to make one game a year.
It could be. Yeah. They'll have a new game. Yeah. They'll have a new game on, around the summer, right? Like the Hey Pikmin sort of slot. Yeah. Maybe one per quarter, right? Like
I doubt they started anything new for the 3DS starting like mid last year. They're finish off the 3DS projects and then trickle them off as slow as possible, but they're not starting anything new. Anything new is going to the Switch.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Remember, it takes 2 to 3 years to make a game. So they had, I'm sure they had plenty of back projects that were half started and ready that they could still squeeze through.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, so good question. I'm going to read the last email here. It says, "Hi, Nintendo Dads. I was thinking about a potential Zelda Maker game, and I just don't think it would work well like with Super Mario Maker. I think a better idea would be to release a Zelda Greatest Hits title. This game would take the best dungeons, along with boss fights from previous Zelda games, and put them together in one package. Zelda dungeons are my favorite parts of Zelda titles, and the only way to experience these dungeons is by playing through long Zelda titles, and once you beat them, you can't replay them without playing through the whole game again. I think the Switch can even handle Skyward Sword's motion controls. I don't know if it would be the best to have only 3D dungeons, but it would be great to have a sort of level select game that lets you replay some of your favorites. Do some graphical improvements, create some challenge modes, maybe make some 2D dungeons unlockable or include new standalone dungeons or something. I think there is enough content to draw from that. Let me read that sentence. I think there is enough content to draw from that they could make a compelling package without using too much resources. Would you guys be interested in a game like that, or think it would generate interest? How likely do you think it would ever happen? Regards, Blaze." And then we'll
just to clarify, a Zelda Greatest Hits.
Like basically take some of the best like Legend of Zelda Top 100, right, or whatever, I don't know, right? But like take the different dungeons, some of the best dungeons, and put them in there.
I think by itself, I don't think there's enough content to do it and be a good standalone game. It might be a decent mode in a larger Zelda game, like kind of like a boss rush mode, but different.
Well, you know what actually this reminded me of, and I'm let's not confuse that I'm saying that this was an amazing game, but this basic setup actually sounds similar to how Triforce Heroes was. That it was very much like, go do this little dungeon run, fight the boss, take 10 minutes, and then come back to the town, and then go to another dungeon, and then come back. And I think that setup is really good. Once you got into the dungeon and they forced the multiplayer mode onto that game, I think that game fell apart entirely. But the idea of going to different, go to the dungeon, come back, go to the dungeon, come back, I think that is a really cool idea. And regardless of if it's a greatest hits or not, I actually really do like that idea. Make it almost, like you could even, maybe this is just really speaking to that part of me that has been really loving roguelikes lately, though. Like that could be the case too. So anyway, I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think that I may not, I get the idea and I get what is behind it, but like when you get to talking about graphical upgrades and things, I would love to see, and I'm going out on a limb here, and people may not agree with me on this, but I don't care. I would love to see Nintendo remake Zelda 2.
I've been saying that for years.
And do it right.
I'd be open to it. Why not?
Like, make it what it was supposed to be, but do it in 3D.
Yeah, man.
You know, do it.
You talking like when you say 3D? What do you mean by that? You mean like
do it as
like new Super Mario Brothers style
Zelda
2.5
in the same style as like, and I know these are two different games, but God of War. God of War was a free roaming 3D platformer, which Zelda 2 was a platformer. I don't care. It was 2D. You had to make jumps. You had to hit precise movements. It's a platformer. But it also had puzzle elements added into it. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying make it the same type of game God of War is, like thematically and different things like that, but imagine. Mm-hmm. You know, even, and like, of course, the attacking, you know, the combat probably would not be the same, but just imagine that, like those dungeons, all of that redone.
Yeah, dude.
You're able to roam around. I don't know. Like, the more I think about remaking Zelda 2, the more excited I get about it.
Well, hey, they've remade just about every other Zelda game at this point, so why not? It's on the list. Let's do it.
If they wanted to remake the first two, I would be okay with that.
Doesn't Miyamoto hate that game though?
Zelda 2?
Didn't he say that's the worst game that he ever made?
Probably.
I feel like that was something he said.
I think I probably felt like that, and
I hope he said that before Wii Music.
Come on.
Yeah, I really don't see how that could dethrone Wii Music.
That's crazy talk. Oh my gosh.
All right. So I wanted to touch on this PS. So I'll not read it word for word because I don't want to advertise this website. But he asked, what happened to the blank website? That's where I first learned about the podcast and started listening. Basically, this website, I used to be a moderator on in the forums. And so I do, you know, I plug the things that I participated in as well. And basically, about like 3 years ago, I think I was a mod on that website for like 5 or 6 years. You know, but it was a long time. The website itself got hacked, and accounts got deleted or modified, and all sorts of things. Everything just went belly up on that website, and I it was to the point I don't think they could ever recover, and I never logged in again. So if they did recover, I don't know, maybe, but yeah, I haven't logged into that website in years.
Wow, right on. By the way, here's some great, where are we here? Here's some incredible music from Wii Music. Where are we? Let's see if we can, here we go, Wii Music video.
Happy birthday.
Here we go. This is incredible. Oh, everybody settle in. This is going to blow your socks off. Actually, I
called it.
Actually, you know what? As far as Wii music goes, that's actually really amazing. But
and this mess of notes is probably going to give us a copyright strike.
Am I? Wow. All right. I'm sufficiently. My brain has melted.
Enjoy your 5 cents, Nintendo.
Yeah. There you go. Dang it. Well, with that, Marty, do we have anything coming up here? Like, I feel like that's been a show. It's been a short show, but it's been a show. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Do we have anything else going on? Like it's not even midnight for you guys. Like, I feel like if we don't lose sleep over this show, then we haven't done it right. But I don't know.
Yeah. So out there in Nintendo Dad's land, you need to be playing Final Fantasy 3 or Final Fantasy 6, whatever you want to call it. It's the third one here in America. It's the sixth one in Japan. It's the one with Espers. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
You can be a Moogle.
It's the good one.
And it's good.
Play it. It's fantastic. There's a scene in it that makes Jesse cry like a baby every time he plays it. So
it's true.
It is.
There you go. Also, next week, as we said at the top of the show, Gary Gray is heading to London. He's going to go hands-on with Nintendo Labo and be reporting back on next week's show. We're going to have video and pics And then the week after that, we're going to have an interview with a couple of folks from Thunderful about Fae, which will be out before that. We encourage you to pick that up. They're good folks and make great games. But they'll be on the show to talk about everything Fae that week, and we're excited about that too. And you know what? Our new Retro Rewind episode dropped this past Sunday. And if you haven't listened to that yet, Metroid Prime's Retro Rewind episode is out right now on all the streaming stuff.
You said it couldn't be done. But
they said it couldn't be done, and you know what? They didn't think about whether we would try.
Yeah, and
so we did it.
Well, if we did, but never mind. We did a good job. I actually really enjoyed that episode. And huge thanks to N64 Josh. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Wait. Yeah, N64 Josh, right?
Yes.
That was right. I don't know why I doubted it. I was like, wait, is it backwards? Am I saying it wrong?
Nope. He did a fantastic job.
Hallelujah. Yes, it was awesome to have him on there, and huge thanks to him again for being on the show. So, right on, man. Well, any final thoughts?
Yeah, I'll do a little plug. I wanted to thanks again to Skinny Matt, who donated a box of Mario cereal to me, and I did a tasting video and have it up on the website or on YouTube on our channel.
Nice.
And
right on.
If you can see the YouTube people watching, it's up
right there.
You can see it above my Moogle in the background.
Yeah, there you go. Right on. Above my Moogle is my Bare Naked Ladies cover band, by the way. Anyways, right on. So, huge thank you to everybody who watches live every Thursday night, as well as everybody who catches the podcast. If you want to follow us on all the social medias, which is, people like those things, right? You can go over to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at Nintendo Dads. Follow us there. You can, of course, go to patreon.com/Nintendo Dads if you want to support the show, even for as little as $1 a month. Makes a huge difference for us, and huge thank you to everybody who does that. As well, I'm going to pull up my notes because my brain's not working tonight. Huge thanks for people who emailed us, nintendodads@gmail.com. If you want to... Oh, weird music glitched out there for a sec. If you want to email us, nintendodads@gmail.com. If you want to watch our videos, Twitch and YouTube, you can look for Nintendo Dads and find us there. And, we got all sorts of cool stuff over there. We actually have just crossed over 1,500 subscribers on YouTube as well. So huge thanks to everybody over there. If you want to call in and leave us a voicemail, 929-25-NDADS. That's 929-256-3237. Huge thanks to OC Remix for our music throughout the show, as well as to both Carter Johnson and Adam Leonard for our amazing artwork. And, of course, if you want to change the world, go over to iTunes, leave us a 5-star review. Written reviews are even better. And if you want to subscribe, go over to iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and, of course, VGTribune.com. For me, for Jesse, for Marty, and for the Irish missing Justin on vacation. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Nintendo Dads.
Wobble Puffet? Wobble Buffet?
There it is.
Yeah, I actually forgot to say that he was gone today, but...
That's okay. I think they realized it by the end.